Welcome to our channel. While U.S. policies continue to exert pressure on African nations, a new choice is emerging among African Americans. More are turning away from the American dream and returning to Africa, not for a vacation, not for a short visit, but to reconnect with their heritage, reclaim their roots, and rediscover who they are. For centuries, Africans and African Americans have shared history but lived in separate worlds. Two continents, one ancestry, and a widening distance. But now, a surprising reversal is taking place. Thousands of African Americans are leaving the United States, abandoning the so-called land of opportunity, and moving to Africa to start anew. Why would anyone trade the bright lights of the U.S. for a continent often portrayed by the West as underdeveloped, poor, or unsafe? And yet, at the same time, millions of Africans are still risking everything to reach the West. This is not just a trend, it is a movement. The story of this movement is rooted in history. 2019 marked a pivotal year for people of African descent, 400 years since the first Africans were taken from their homelands and sold into slavery. This horrific chapter, the transatlantic slave trade, was the largest forced migration of a single race in human history. Out of 12.5 million captured Africans, only about 10.7 million survived the journey. And survival did not mean freedom. Once in the Americas, they were forced to toil on plantations, growing crops like sugar, tobacco, and cotton, fueling Western economies while enduring unimaginable suffering.
Centuries later, slavery ended, and African descendants in the Americas gained citizenship and legal rights. Yet racism persisted. Generations of discrimination, violence, and marginalization left deep scars, shaping the realities of African Americans even today. And now, a powerful reversal is underway. African Americans are returning to Africa in record numbers. But why now? Although slavery is history, systemic inequality continues in the U.S. African Americans often face discrimination, mistrust, and insecurity. Many have never visited their ancestral homeland because, for generations, Africa was depicted as dangerous and hopeless. But then came 2019, a year that changed everything. Ghana, a central hub of the historic slave trade, launched the Year of Return campaign, inviting the diaspora to reconnect, rebuild, and consider making Ghana their home. The response was overwhelming. Thousands applied for visas, many stayed, and the campaign sparked a sense of hope. In 2020, the murder of George Floyd and the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement further amplified this sentiment. For millions of African Americans, the U.S. no longer felt like home. Ghana granted over 500 African American citizenship just last year, with numbers rising steadily. And Ghana is not alone. Other African nations are now opening their doors, inviting diaspora communities to return.
Take Sunjaya Davis, for example. On paper, she had the American dream, a successful career, a social life, and stability. But she never felt truly safe. Fear and anxiety shadowed her every step. Generational trauma, from slavery to racial violence, including the Tulsa Massacre, was part of her reality. After George Floyd's murder, she reached her breaking point. She made a radical choice, leaving Washington, D.C. for Ghana. For her, it wasn't an escape, it was a homecoming. Sunjaya's journey began with curiosity, not desperation. During Ghana's Year of Return campaign, she visited and felt an unshakable connection. When life in America became unbearable, she did not hesitate. Today, she runs her therapy practice online, feeling a peace she had never known in the U.S. I feel loved. I feel supported. I feel like I matter, she says. She is not alone. Erica Bennett, head of the African Diaspora Forum, recounts that after George Floyd's death, hundreds of African Americans reached out daily, asking how they could relocate to Ghana. For many, it represents a new beginning, a chance to build a life where skin color is celebrated, not a source of fear. Morris Bryger, a former U.S. Navy SEAL, echoes this sentiment. Nobody's going to get shot tonight in Ghana. Despite Africa's reputation as unsafe, statistics reveal that the U.S. ranks second in gun-related deaths and African Americans face systemic threats at home. Safety, peace, and dignity are drawing thousands to Ghana and beyond. The movement extends to East Africa as well. Kenneth Harris, a retired U.S. veteran, found his sanctuary in Nairobi, Kenya. He runs a thriving Airbnb business and enjoys the city's vibrant culture, tropical climate, and welcoming people. Here, his dark skin is not a target. It is a badge of belonging. Many African Americans describe Africa as a place where they finally feel at home.
Entrepreneurs like Adela Muhammad help facilitate this transition. Her relocation service supports families moving to Kenya, handling housing, banking, and medical needs, creating smooth new beginnings. Families plan years ahead to leave the U.S., driven by the promise of safety, opportunity, and belonging. So why Africa now? While politics may provide a small nudge, the motivation is deeper: quality of life, freedom, and a sense of identity. People are leaving one of the wealthiest nations for safety, peace, and community. For Austin Holloman, a YouTuber who recently settled in Kenya, the connection was instant. The moment a stranger helped him when his taxi broke down, he knew he had found his place. Africa represents rebirth, a chance to live without fear, without the weight of systemic racism. Beyond ancestry and safety, lifestyle is a draw. Africa's vibrant cultures, languages, traditions, and communities offer connection and belonging. Black identity is celebrated here, not questioned. Economically, opportunities abound in entrepreneurship, tech, and real estate, often with lower competition and cost of living. African Americans are not only reconnecting with their roots, they are thriving. Yet this movement raises questions. Could the arrival of wealthy diaspora communities create class divides with locals? Could tensions emerge even as economies grow? These challenges aside, the core truth is undeniable. Thousands are returning to Africa, choosing heritage, identity, and opportunity over the American dream. For Africa, this is a moment to reflect. The continent is rich in culture, resources, and potential. If diaspora communities are choosing Africa, perhaps the greatness they seek abroad has always existed at home. This is more than migration. It could mark the beginning of a new African renaissance. The question now remains, is this simply a trend or a transformative wave that will reshape the continent and the diaspora forever? One thing is clear: Africa is calling its children home.